welcome everybody. This is the Classic Pally, also known as Verdict. Welcome to the following video that I promised about Warblade of Caradaro whenever I made my previous one, which was Retribution Paladin WoW Classic so far. Now, I really dedicated myself to this weapon to such an extent where I spent the entirety of this day and the day previous and the day before kind of testing it. Now, I have a couple of screenshots here from the number of Sholomance runs that I've made. So today, the date is 20th of September 2019. We're like, 25 days, 26 days, 24 days inside WoW Classic. So this is the video that explains Warblade of Caradaro and how good it is and why it's so good, and for you to understand why you should take it. And if you sold it, delete the Paladin, make another one, and take it. Really, it's fucking that good. So let's just go into it. So this is Warblade of Caradaro. Do not pay attention to the enchant for now. This is just what I roll with. It's just an enchant that I've started with. Now, whenever we talk about Retribution Paladin Weapons inside WoW Classic, the majority of you guys will know that a 3.8 weapon is ideally what you want. But is it? Now, whenever you look at this weapon and you go like, well, it's fast, it's 3.3, the damage range is not that good, the DPS is the biggest, like the highest DPS from all the two-handed weapons inside the game that are considered pre-raid, so your auto attacks will definitely deal more damage, that's naturally, unless you're inside Vengeance. So, that being said, you glance a second time, you see, okay, it procs from 1 to 22 frost damage, it's done additional effects, but it's not. So what this video will be all about, as I said previously, is to explain how this weapon works and why it's so good for Paladins specifically. So, every time I hit with this weapon, what the console really told me was nothing. So the console was, the combat log, which we get over here, my actions didn't tell me anything about the weapon and how good is it really good. So I had to figure out ways to really test this weapon. So I went inside Sholomance, and the reason for which I went inside Sholomance was because there were a couple of mobs inside there that are immune to physical damage, so I can actually check the performance of this weapon, its interactions, and overall generally how the weapon works. Once I got inside the Sholomance and we located the Dark Shades, which are a spawn right before you kill a mobs, which was Occupultant, I can't even pronounce the name of those mobs. They turn into a Dark Shades, immune to physical damage, only pretty much spell damage can kill them. And I decided to go there and test. So this is what happened. I'm going to review the screenshot by screenshot so you can follow me really quick. Let's just pull this down really quick, we're going to get to it later. Look at this screenshot in particular. Now I have done 2 swings on those shades just for this mob itself. So I deal first 1 physical, which is the lowest point of damage that you can deal with this weapon, and then I deal a 41 critical strike rating with the weapon. And I think to myself, how can I deal 41 when it's an uneven number? And it's nowhere to be seen on the either proc from 1 to 22, or it can be seen from a crit because a crit is twice the number. So I thought to myself, well, in order for me to have done a 41 physical, I need to have done before that a 19 or an 18, and I need to have enhanced this in order for it to crit to this one. Now first of all, I didn't even know that weapon can crit, so apparently this particular proc effect follows your basic melee combat. And the first thing I saw was a critical strike rating. Then I took a screenshot, I went into the combat log and I was like, why does it say physical? And then it hit me. And I got so satisfied with what I figured out about this weapon. Let me tell you, this is one of a kind. There is almost nothing like this inside this game another time. You will never see this. So what this weapon really did was it turned a small portion into 100% penetratable effect, which is basically something similar to what glancing blows do, but if you manage to reject them with skill rating. So swing was done, 41 crit, flat out short. I figured out that something enhanced it. And then I looked into the screenshot a little bit more in detail, and I'm going to cover my face really quick, and then lo and behold, up on top right, I have Vengeance. So, as we just figured out, this attack deals somewhat physical damage. And why does it deal physical damage? I'm going to explain in a bit. And it's been enhanced by Vengeance. So basically your weapon scales more than any other weapon inside the entirety of the game with Vengeance, unless the weapon has some sort of physical effect additional. And it procs while inside Vengeance. So enough useless information for this particular video. So having Vengeance on this means the following. The damage is somewhat transferred into being physical instead of frost, and I started looking for an explanation on why could that really be. Flat out, what I came to a conclusion is that in order for you to maintain use of this weapon, and to maintain use such as I don't have to proc auto effects from this weapon, I want to proc what really my class offers for this weapon, is the reason for which it gets transferred to physical. It gets to frost. The log pretty much says, okay, this is frost damage being dealt. It's been enhanced by percentage-based frost increases. For example, Curse of the Elements by Warlock, and then I'm going to transfer it into physical so that the person who uses this weapon really gets a benefit from it. And that is, okay, I have Vengeance. Okay, I have, I believe, Enrage for Warrior increases physical damage for the next swings by 25. I could be mistaken. I'm not a warrior. Sorry. Then it gets put out. Okay, that's fine. Well, it's just some damage. It can do really much for you, but it sometimes couldn't even do anything. And then I was like, okay, but is that really it? Well, it wasn't. It fucking wasn't, and I couldn't believe what I saw. The moment it hit me, I was like, this is it. This is by far the best installed pre-raid weapon. Nothing can beat this. And we're going to go to the second screenshot that I have taken over here and going to pretty much enhance it. Let me just hide this for now. We're going to enhance it, and then I look, and what do you see when you see the screenshot, everybody? Just tell me. What do you see of this? Your melee swing hits Dark Shade for 14 physical damage, which is basically the proc of the weapon. It can happen. Your Seal of Command hits Dark Shade for 404 holy damage. Huh? And when I saw the 404 normal Seal of Command damage, I was like, this is a little bit too much than what a Seal of Command should deal. And I started, everything hit me again, and I started seeing the numbers and everything, being me, the fanatic that I am about the Retribution Paladins, better than the majority. So I was like, okay, let's see what I have done in order to deal so much damage. Now, when we look in the top buff list that I pretty much have only one increase, and that is my battle shout from the warrior inside my party. And I was starting to think, but this is so much damage for a normal swing. I'm outside Vengeance. This is a little bit too much right now, especially for the 3.3 weapon. So I came to another conclusion for the weapon itself, and that is that, oh, whoops, that's my other stream. That is that Warblade of Caradaro actually takes advantage of, your Judgment, Seal of Command takes advantage from Warblade of Caradaro. So you would be like, well, how does that work? Every time Warblade of Caradaro gets procced, your weapon that gets ignored by the mob, the 14 damage or whatever damage you proc from it, even if it crits, and then it's being split, and then it's being transferred into a Seal of Command proc from 70% of the duration, from 70% of the damage dealt, which is nice. I mean, I guess that's freaking good. So is that really it about the blade? Well, no, it's not. No, this could be just a single instance of some sort of a bug, of some sort of unintended thing that happens inside the game. So I decided to take it a little bit to another extent. So let's just take the screenshot away for a little bit and see what I did next. Now I invited this particular player. You're going to see the name over here really quick. I invited this particular player to help me outside with outside Stormwind with a little bit of a PvP test. And what I asked him, because this player was a paladin, what I asked this paladin was to pretty much use Hand of Protection on himself. And then what I did was, I'm going to hit you once and we'll see what happens. The 2 damage increase went through and it proc Seal of Command, so this is intended. Now what does this information really mean? All of this, why am I testing this pre-raid weapon when there are gazillion amounts of weapons out there? Well, my dear Horde players, this weapon can be in some extreme benefit to you if you're Horde. Let's just say the Paladin is being Blessings of Protection. That's really a noun. So your Paladin is being delivering a Blessings of Protection to an allied player. Maybe you can think of something that you could do with this weapon. Just, you know, continue the spread of knowledge, continue the spread of this particular effect, and see where we can see where we can hang. Now, I have been a part of this Discord that I have never really taken seriously until today. And the Discord, I'm sorry for that, I'm just being honest. The Discord is pretty lame Paladin sheet. I'm sure you can find it outside somewhere. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to promote it, but I will nevertheless. People out inside are really passionate about Retribution Paladins, Protection Paladins, Holy Paladins. All is there. A couple of really big names that are inside. So I hope you guys really could check this out. So, and I really hope I don't get in trouble for advertising it. That's pretty much it for the blade itself, the weapon. As you can see, Warblade of Karadar is insane. Now, what I plan on doing next with this weapon will be in Phase 2. The very same Discord that I mentioned to you suggested to me to go and enchant this with Icy Chill, enchant this with a Frost weapon, and have some fun in PvP, baby. So this is what we're gonna do when this is what we're gonna do when Phase 2 hits our marks. So that's it for me. I was Verdict from the Classic Pally. My realm is on Mograine. I'm playing on EU, and I hope to see you in game or, you know, down in the comment section, whatever below. See ya in the next video when I figure out something really cool and I share with you. Bye bye.